All right, everybody, it's that time again. Welcome into another Invest Well show. As always, I'm your host, Michael Wall. Listen, hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. Hope you're having a great day, great week. It's a new year. So excited for the great things that are going to happen this year. And remember, your success is a direct result of the action that you personally take. So don't just listen to these shows and listen to ideas and then do nothing. Actually take action to change your life. I really felt led to have a conversation with you about ways that you can make money, profit from ideas that I believe are going to be kind of catapulted, if you will, or oil on the fire, if you will, gasoline on the fire from the new administration. I really think there's going to be significant life-changing opportunity over the next couple years for those that are paying attention. So I wanted to do a three-part series talking about ideas. The first part is going to be on oil, the 3 ways to make money from it. The second part is going to be talking about AI and crypto as well. And the second and third part, all because I believe there's significant opportunity coming. Now, I think it's so important that we think about where we're getting the information and where the information is coming to us, and then what are we actually acting on. I share that because I have been in the financial industry for almost 25 years, not only commentating nationally on CNBC, Fox, and Bloomberg, writing for the Wall Street Journal and others, but also I've had companies and have companies that have been helping families protect, grow, and reduce taxes on their wealth. I share this because we've spent a lot of time, it's really been my life's work, uncovering a lot of great opportunities to help families grow their wealth. Now, I think this is so important because there's so much information out there where people can pull data and ideas and numbers and charts and show them to you in maybe convincing ways, but they've never been on the other side of the aisle or the other side of the table of actually having to be accountable for results. And so I think that's really, really important. I share that with you, not because this is an investment advice opportunity. It's not. I'm sharing you ideas. You have to go research and make sure it's right for yourself. But I want you to know that my life's work has been spent in this space. As you're listening to this, make sure that you like and subscribe to the show if you're listening on YouTube, or give us your comments and feedback. We'd love to hear that so that way you can get the next shows as they come out. But before I jump in and talk about oil here on this show, I want to set some groundwork, lay some precedents, if you will, from what President Trump himself has said. You've probably heard it before, but let's reiterate, let's go there and talk about why we believe some of these things, an opportunity to invest and make some money here significantly, is real. All right, let's jump to the clip.
Bring down the prices of all goods. We will end the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to start that day one. Under the Trump administration, we had energy independence, and soon we will have energy dominant. We will be more dominant than any country by far.
Drill, baby, drill. That's the words. Listen, you can't confuse what he's saying there. And you know, the other thing that I like about President Trump is, yes, he may shift sometimes when he gets more information, but he knows fundamentally what's necessary to bring success to a country. We want to be energy independent. That's so important. It's something that we need to do. And while that happens, there's going to be significant opportunity. Well, what's happened is a lot of Americans have not realized, or maybe they've been unaware of the fact that even though there's been a lot of conversation around EV, electric vehicles, and all of these other things, windmills, solar, etc., we are still, the United States is still the largest producer of oil, crude, in the world right now. The top 3, I'm going to bring this chart up for you. It's very interesting. Check this chart out. So the top 3, you're going to see, when you look at the chart, you're going to see the United States is in blue. Saudi Arabia is, I don't know, brown. I'm kind of colorblind. I apologize. And Russia is the other color. So let's talk about the other color. So here we go. Look all the way back in the chart here. You're going to see a little highlighter there on 2018. And then you see 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and 23. Watch that highlighter as it goes. Look at 23, how far the United States has surpassed all these other countries, Saudi Arabia and Russia. Now, what's interesting is when you take a look at this, our shale production in America in 2023 is the lowest it's ever been. Our reserves are the lowest that it's ever been. There's some opinion out there. I want to be cautious. I'm not saying this is fact. It's just opinion. There's some opinion out there that the current administration, previous, I'll say, Biden, has actually been counting some of the reserve production getting out into society as part of actual production, which is not. So Trump is focused on real production. That's so important. And I think it's important to understand that we are in a place where America is the leader in oil production in the world right now. We are one of the richest countries in the world of resources, and so we have a lot of opportunity. All right, so let's talk about some of the ways that you can make money on the idea of oil, crude, so to speak, in America. Because sometimes it can feel like it's out there, and how do I actually do it? Well, the first way you can make money on it is through production. All right, flat out production, where you're literally investing into companies. Maybe it's privately or publicly traded companies or privately traded companies, where you can literally invest into production. Now, I want to caution you here. One of the things that you got to think about, that anytime there's opportunity, there's also a lot of scams and challenges that exist as well. So beware that you're not investing in a company that's out there with fancy brochures and all of these things, and they're projecting all these things are going to be opportunity. You can make a lot of money, but they're literally out there wildcatting. They're not really. They haven't done the research. Maybe they don't own the ground. Maybe they don't have control of the project. So there's so many things that you need to make sure of before you actually go just invest in this. But I want to wet the whistle with the reality that production is going to be real. When Trump says drill, baby, drill, that means there's going to be more drilling. There's going to be more funding. There's going to be less restriction from companies that want to go drill and actually find oil. So this is important. Now, all of that comes into the play where you look at production. One of the benefits of investing in production and the producing of oil is, number one, you have the ability to participate in the yields of the wells. So you're investing in the wells, you participate in the wells. My suggestion, this isn't advice, my suggestion when you look at investing in wells, I like the idea of investing into something where the goal is to go and maybe there's existing production that was had there years ago, but with new technology, you can go in and actually increase the production of the current wells. Maybe there's different ways that you can make that happen. But then in addition, the goal is to take those wells and then sell them in 3 to 4 to 5 years with meat on the bone. So unlike the old oil production of past, where people would invest in an oil well or multiple wells, and the way the investment worked is you were there for years. Is the idea that your kids and grandkids and great-grandkids are going to get monies from this well. I'm not a big believer of investing that way when you look at oil. I think you want to find a project or a company that's committed to taking a look at investing in wells where they can improve the production, but then be in a place where, while there's still a lot of meat on the bone, meaning there's still a lot of oil in the ground, they sell the project for profit to another company. It's almost like when you think about PE, private equity will go in and they'll buy a lot of projects, and they'll be in a situation where they're just looking for a yield along the way. They're looking for something that's going to consistently kick out yield. Now, I'm not saying private equity is going to come in and buy these things, but the point is, look for something that has the opportunity to get in, but then maybe exit in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. That way you can get out with meat on the bone, make your profit, take your capital, and go do something else. Because as we know, investments change over time. So we want to be paying attention to that. The other thing that I would say is, when you're taking a look at the investment itself, make sure that you're investing, or my suggestion is that you're looking at investing in wells where there's multiple wells. In other words, I highly don't recommend you get caught up in the idea of like Uncle Bobby that's like, hey, I got a great well down in Louisiana. I know the farmer. It's going to be amazing. And you invest in one well or maybe 2 wells, and then they just don't work out like you had planned. You sunk a bunch of money in a lot of different things, and they don't work out. So make sure that you're investing in something where you have multiple wells for diversification. That's so important in the project. The other thing I think that's important, and that's a benefit that just kind of comes alongside direct production. Now, this is if you do it privately. Oftentimes, you're in a place where you can participate in some significant tax advantages. So you're going to have the opportunity, if you privately invest in these types of opportunities, you're going to have the ability to participate in anywhere between 40, 50, sometimes as much as 75, 80, 85% of what's called IDC, which is intangible drilling cost. So for the costs of drilling and the costs of kind of exploring and finding some of what's there, you get to participate in tax benefits. Now, why is this important? Because if you invest $1 million in a project, you could potentially not pay taxes on $700,000 or $800,000. So let me put this into context for you. Let's say you're making $3 million a year. Now, you may only be making $300,000 a year. You may only make $30,000 a year. You make $30 million a year. I don't know. But let's just say you make $3 million a year and you say, I'm going to go ahead and invest, and I'm going to put $1 million into an oil and gas investment. And now I'm going to have the opportunity on that investment to not pay taxes this year on $700,000 maybe to $800,000. Might be more, might be less, just depending on the project, which is a significant tax savings on your investment. Plus, you have the opportunity to participate in additional growth of your investment. And so that's important. When you take a look at the investment that you're in, take a look at the opportunities not only today, but also tomorrow. There's also some additional tax benefits as that project yields return over time. So production is one way. Remember, multiple wells, being in a place where you understand the project, you understand that there's not wildcatting going on, and there's history and a lot of data around why you're getting in, and you have a comfortable time frame around how long this investment actually is. The other thing that I would say, as far as a great way to make money on these investments, is refineries. Obviously, when the oil itself is pulled out of the ground, it doesn't just go from being pulled out of the ground straight to the gas pump. It's got to be refined. It's got to be purified. It's like when you go to the gas pump and you have, 87, 89, 93. There's different levels of refined oil based on the type of car that you have, based on the need of the car. So this oil has to be refined. This is a great way sometimes for you to additionally make money in the process. Think of it this way. So if Trump is saying drill, baby, drill, and the production by default is going to go up, that means there's going to be more oil coming out of the ground. The next real demand is for refineries that literally have the capability of refining that oil. Whether those refineries need to expand, whether there's need to be new refineries that come online, there's a need for refineries to refine that oil before then it gets transported to the gas pumps or any other use that it's going to be used for. So that's another way that you can make money on oil itself. So you got production is one, and then you got refineries as another. There's companies out there, if you research, that have the ability where they specialize, as one of their specialties is refining crude. And when you search for that and look for that, you can find companies where you can actually make some great investment opportunity on that. Some of those refineries will pay some nice dividends and distributions. Some of them you just make profit depending on how they work. But take a look, that's an opportunity. The third thing where you can make money around oil is through the idea of transportation. Again, think of it this way. We're in a place where we have to transport this oil all over the country. And so transportation is something where you can make money as well. It's kind of like toll takers. I mean, this is kind of the simplistic form of it, but imagine if you've ever driven your car down a road and it's a toll road. I remember when I was in Pennsylvania, there was a toll road that you would drive on that pretty much went from the east side of Pennsylvania, all the way to the west side of Pennsylvania. And it was a turnpike. There's a turnpike down here in Florida as well. Well, when you drive on that turnpike, you pay a toll. You pay a toll. There's a fee that you pay. Maybe you have an easy pass or something like that. So you don't, it's not old school anymore where you're driving down the road, you pull up to the toll booth and you flip your quarter into the basket. That almost doesn't happen anywhere anymore. It's almost digital now, right? So you pay your toll and it hits your credit card and it's easy. You don't even think about it. But the point is you get on those roads, every single time you get on a toll road, you're going to pay a toll. It's crazy. I mean, I literally think about it like I'm jumping on a toll road a couple times a week, and you don't think about the fact that they're literally pulling money out of your pocket. Well, what if you could take some of that money and put it back in your pocket? How do you do that? Well, by investing in the transportation of oil. Think about it. I mean, you're literally transporting this oil. Companies are transporting this oil, and they're kind of just toll takers. They have to transport the oil. You can invest in that and have the opportunity to make money on those things. This is so important. And listen, I think when you take a look at some of the things that are happening in the world today, there's also some conversation around the idea of the sanctions. And what does that look like? Are they going to stay in place with Russia or not? If they do, that gives a lot of bullish sentiment to oil prices itself. Right now, as we take a look at where barrels are, so to speak, the Brent's about $81 per se, and it's jumped. It's gone up a little bit. I don't know if the cost of oil itself will actually come down. It should with the law of supply and demand. But what we know is even if it comes down, there's still going to be considerable opportunity. Here's a great way to think about it. Walmart, Amazon, their backbone is selling wholesale, mass quantities. They make money selling mass quantities. Louis Vuitton, as an example, sells a lot of stuff, but it's not in mass quantities because it's got a high price point. So even though it's mass quantities, you can still make a lot of money on it. And it may move the price of oil down a little bit as far as the barrels and actual true cost, but there's still going to be a lot of money to be made along the way. So production, refining, and transportation. Those are the three great ways that you can make money in this process on the drill, baby, drill movement. Listen, if you have questions around your situation privately, your personal portfolio, you got a couple $1 million or more, the sponsors of this show, leanonthewall.com, they've done a great job helping families over the years in many, many capacities. I would encourage you to head over there, learn some about what's on the site, get some information, talk with somebody there specifically. Again, leanonthewall.com. But more than anything, get educated yourself. Take some time, look at opportunity. Don't be the head in the sand kind of person here. There is real opportunity, I believe, that you can take advantage of. And the only way that you take advantage of the opportunity is if you get intentional, which means you have to do things differently than you've done in the past to get different results. Remember the old definition of insanity? Keep doing the same things and getting or expecting different results. It's just not going to happen. You got to change. So change what you're doing to change the results. Get intentional about your personal life and your family's life. Be blessed, and we'll see you part 2 coming soon.